Is there an objection?
Mr. President.
The Assistant Majority Leader.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object, and let me just say, through the chair, thank you to the Senator from New York and the Senator from Vermont and Senator from Illinois and others here for the opportunity to spend New Year's with them. I know that's always been something that's been on my bucket list. Maybe not on top of the bucket list, but nevertheless, thank you for that opportunity. It does feel like a long time ago, but it was actually only, if you can believe this, the beginning of last week when both sides of the aisle and both sides of the Capitol came together to pass a targeted, responsible, and necessary relief package, which became law with overwhelming bipartisan support. It passed here in the Senate 92-6. Members on both sides of the aisle, myself included, have demonstrated that we are willing to dedicate resources to those struggling during this pandemic. The problem with what is being put forward, the House-passed Cash Act, is that it is not targeted to help those who are most in need. Now, just as a sort of point that out, it's not just us saying that, Mr. President. Even the Washington Post editorial board, called it one last bad idea for 2020. They singled it out as especially wrong-headed, the efforts of the progressive left to depict this, and I quote, as aid to desperate Americans despite the huge amounts of their term, this is the Washington Post term, their term, destined for perfectly comfortable families, end quote. As others here on the floor have noted, the bill would provide a payment to a family of 5 making up to $350,000. A family of 5 making $250,000 would receive a $5,000 benefit. Now, just to put that in perspective, Mr. President, that's more than was paid to a middle-class family of 5 under the CARES Act that we passed back in March. In addition, the bill would add an additional $463 billion, nearly $500 billion to the annual debt. And again, it's all money we have to borrow. All of this is money we have to borrow. And that's just more than the first 2 economic impact payments combined. So put that in perspective, Mr. President. If you think of other ways that you could use that amount of money, the truth is that those types of sums could potentially be spent in many more targeted ways. But our colleagues on the Democrat side don't even want to debate some of those alternatives. Allowing small businesses a second draw of the Paycheck Protection Program would have cost approximately $285 billion. For the cost of the Cash Act, we could do another round of assistance to help small businesses keep their employees on the payroll and still have almost $200 billion left over. The expanded unemployment benefit signed into law last week costs approximately $120 billion for 11 additional weeks. That means that we could provide more than an additional 40 weeks, 10 months of enhanced unemployment insurance benefits for those who have lost their jobs for the same cost as this proposal. Mr. President, this is simply not targeted relief for the people who need it the most. And those who say that we should just vote on this flawed House bill conveniently leave out the fact that they do not want us to amend it to make it better, to deliver more assistance to the people who are hurting the most. So, Mr. President, for all those reasons, and again, maybe just point out one last time that has been less than a week really now since the Senate voted and the President signed into law a proposal negotiated literally over months. Every fine point of that proposal negotiated, signed into law to provide targeted, fiscally responsible assistance to the people in this country who need it the most. This proposal is a shotgun approach where a rifle makes a lot more sense. If you really want to help people who need this the most, at a time when we are running a $26 trillion debt, borrowing every penny that we're making available to do this, we ought to sit down and figure out how to do it in the most efficient, effective, targeted way possible. This absolutely does not do that. When you have a family that is making $350,000 a year in this country, getting up to thousands of dollars of payments, and $250,000 a year in this country getting under this proposal a $5,000 check. I would argue, Mr. President, that is not targeted, that is not fiscally responsible, that is not efficient, that is not an effective way to spend the American taxpayers' dollars. Let's help the people who need it the most. We just passed a proposal, signed into law that does that. I think many of us on this side of the aisle are willing to look at other ideas and things that we can do that would help those people more, but this certainly is not it, so I object.
Hey, did you know we have a video podcast called WJ Live?
The Western Journal's mission is to equip readers with the truth. That's the exact same mission we have on WJ Live.
You'll hear from writers, editors, and special guests on the most important topics of the day.
You can watch it live every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/WJ Live.
While you're there, help us out by subscribing and hitting the bell so you won't miss out on any future episodes.